Hey, welcome to maxgisemusic. Max Gise here. In today's lesson, we're going to be covering how to play the riff from Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. This was one of their best-known songs. This came out, I think, in 1992. Had an awesome video on MTV that I remember growing up as a kid. I'd put it up there with riffs like Today by Smashing Pumpkins and Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana as riffs to learn if you love music from the 90s, and if you love Stone Temple Pilots. You definitely probably heard the song, and if you haven't heard of Stone Temple Pilots, you probably also have heard of the song, so it's definitely one of their better known ones. It's inspired a little bit from some ragtime harmony by Robert DeLeo, the great guitarist, songwriter in Stone Temple Pilots, and it's a really fun song to play. It's really easy. So let me show you how to do it. So the intro riff to Plush features a couple different things. First, let's talk about the chord shapes. We have a G5, followed by a G diminished chord, followed by, I'm going to call it an A minor 7, and then an open G chord. And then you're going to walk back up with your remaining fingers, and you can either slide or hammer on. There's a couple of fingering choices you have when you're playing these chords. You can start with your third and fourth finger down, and then switch to this interesting shape, which is the middle index and pinky. Slide those down, makes that chord change really easy. Lift them up for the open, walk back up, and then you can easily execute that hammer on between the second and third fingers on the second string. So here's that version. So the squirrely thing about that fingering is that move to the G diminished will be with index, middle, then pinky, and the pinky pivots throughout. Your second finger choice is to use 2 and 3 if that's uncomfortable to use your pinky. And then switch to 2, 1, 3. Slide that down. Now you may find that to be an uncomfortable stretch, but it's not too unreasonable. Lift up, and then walk back up on the string here. Now, really, the best way to keep going would be to slide in to get that grace note effect. But if you're a purist, it isn't technically a slide, it is a hammer-on. So you could quickly shuffle your finger or bring up your index finger. So I know I just presented a couple different fingering options. The one thing that I'll say is try them all out, but then whichever one you like the best, pick one and stick with it, because the worst thing you can do, especially as a beginning student, is to try to do it a little bit different each way. So you either would start 3 and 4 or 2 and 3. The other thing that's really great about this riff, especially for beginning students, is you're essentially just targeting your top 3 strings, 3, 2, 1, with down strums only. And that's a really nice sound to practice getting on the guitar for several reasons, but just kind of a quick preview, there's a lot of guitar material that happens just on those treble strings or top 3 strings. It's great to practice. The rhythm is rather easy. You have 2 eighth notes, 1 and a rest. I would recommend executing the rest by flattening your right hand on the strings to get a good, complete silent rest. Works well with heavy distortion, as you can see. And then, after that, on the and of 2, you're going to go to your next chord. 1 and 2 and hold. And then you basically repeat that same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3. On beat 4 is when you do the walk-up. 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That about covers it. So one interesting thing that I'll kind of end on is this is a great example of a rock and roll song that uses this diminished chord. And in a little bit of reading that I did, when Robert DeLeo and the band was writing this song, he was listening to a lot of ragtime music. And without getting too much into it, the diminished harmony is something that is frequently occurring in ragtime music. So if that were the case, this would certainly make sense why you'd throw that kind of funky diminished chord in there. So I'll also point out that little diminished shape, if you slide it down half step, is your open D7 chord, which is definitely on that kind of first tier of chords I'd say every beginning student should know. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. It's an awesome 90s riff, has a diminished chord in it, very easy to play, so it's accessible to a lot of students of the guitar, especially beginners. If you enjoyed today's lesson, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other Riffs of the Week lessons, or I have some other fingerstyle guitar music you might enjoy. Practice hard, work hard, hope to see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.